Okay.
So, what is your name and
Yeah.
what do you do?
My name's Lauren Kingsley, and I'm the Director of Marketing and Development here. So I run our social medias, I do our fundraising campaigns, and I'm kind of the PR and the communications person. I wear lots of hats.
Okay, and how you started this work?
I started here in 2018 as the volunteer coordinator, so I worked with all of the volunteers doing special events, and I've worked since I was like 18 at vet clinics and in animal welfare. So I've just always known that I wanted to work with animals, and it's just progressed to this point.
Perfect. And how do you, what do you guys do here? What do you have? What different departments?
As far as work or our animals?
Work.
Work. Okay, so our kennel techs are the people who come in every morning at 6 and they clean. They start cleaning and they leave here at 3, so they have a full day of cleaning. They clean cat rooms, dog rooms, our sick rooms, our lobby. So they do all of the really hard work. Then we have our adoption counselors who work in our front office. They answer phones, help people process intakes and adoptions. So they have all the animals come in and out. They're in charge of that. We have our volunteer coordinator who works with people who are coming in to help us to volunteer their time, and also our foster program, which is housing animals that are still our property but outside of the shelter in a home setting. So they're still looking for a home, but they live in a home so they don't have to live in the shelter. That's a really cool program. We also have our vet department. We have a vet one day a week who comes in and does spay and neuter surgeries. And then we have 2 vet techs, and they administer all the meds, give all of the intake vaccinations, so vaccinations that protect against like respiratory diseases, parvo, things like that, to keep them safe while they're here. And then myself and our director are more, we do mostly office work. Yeah.
All right, good. You mentioned that you have vets coming here.
Mm-hmm.
Are they're the same, or you have another vets that comes?
Yeah. Right now, it's the same vet once a week. There was a time where we didn't have a vet and we had to use the other vets in the area, and we would send our animals to them to have their surgeries. But right now, we have our own vet, and he's here one day a week on Thursdays.
Okay, the other vets volunteer or?
We paid them. They were nice enough to kind of give us discounted services, but we still had to pay.
Great,
Mm-hmm.
great. How you guys found yourself?
So I believe it was 1983 or 85. I should know that, but it was back then in the 80s. Basically, people were just volunteering to hold dogs and cats who were like wandering on the streets, and there was no structure. You just had to know who to call if your dog got lost, and it was kind of, people just had a ton of dogs in their house who were volunteering for that service. And so a couple people got together and said, what if we had a building where we could keep these pets when they got out? And that's how they started Caring Hands. And it really started as more of what you would think of as an animal pound, where it's just a holding place for dogs, and they're really only strays and they go back out to the people who lost them. And it's really developed over time into like a community resource. So we're not just a holding facility for dogs anymore. We do a ton of adoptions. We work with rescues in the area. We have a lot of programs to help people in need. Like we can offer we can offer vouchers that discount the price of spay and neuter surgeries.
Right.
Yeah, so people in the community can get those vouchers, and it takes $70 off the cost, which is it's a big chunk of money for those surgeries. Yeah. We also do a program called TNR in the community, which is trap, neuter, return. So we trap outdoor cats and we bring them here and we fix them and we ear tip them. That way everybody knows they're fixed. And then we send them back out. So then they can live happily outside, but they don't make more babies.
All right. So the cats stay outside.
Yeah.
Where do you leave them?
Wherever we
That-
picked them up from.
Okay.
Yeah, because usually they have homes and they
Yeah.
have people who are caring for them there. That's why they're all there.
Yeah.
But we just don't need them making more cats. There will always be more cats.
Yeah.
If we can help some of them not have more, that's good.
All right. So I know that you guys work with the local police.
Yeah.
They help you. How that does work?
Yeah, so we have the police and sheriff here in town, our city police and our sheriff's office, and if they find any dogs roaming around, they bring them into us, or if people call them and say there's a dog here, they'll go and help catch. We also have an animal control officer dedicated to doing that. So when she's on duty, she's driving looking for animals at large. She's answering calls of people who need help with their animals. She's a super big community resource. A lot of people think of her as the dog catcher, but she's really here to help, and she does a lot of good for our community and keeping animals safe and helping people like make their homes the best situation for their pets. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw that in Facebook,
Mhm.
Newton community program.
Yeah.
Like everybody talking about the work that
Yeah.
everybody does here. So
Mhm.
it's very, very good. So you also offer, or you do some activities
Mhm.
for the community. Like I think I saw a flyer of treat treats and run or something like that.
Is it Cookie Days? The
Cookie
5K?
Days,
Yeah.
How
Yeah,
is it?
that's a fundraiser for us. A business in town actually puts that on for us, and then they donate the proceeds to us and one other nonprofit organization in town. But that's just it's a 5K fun run or race, and basically we just go and they run a course, and when they're done they can get prizes. But then the proceeds, the money that people paid to enter into the race, comes to us.
Okay. So the same people with the dogs run or walk the 5K.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really fun. We also have a wiener dog race coming up, which
Really?
is like all those little dachshunds,
Mhm.
and they just race, and then if they win, they win. Yeah, people do funny stuff with their dogs.
Yeah. Do you offer training or?
We don't offer training here, but we have a lot of people that we can reference people to. We have a pretty small staff, and so we don't get to, as much as we would love to work on behavior things, our time is mostly spent caring for the animals and trying to get them out of here instead of trying to train them. But we work with a lot of really nice trainers and people who board animals, so we can give a lot of good references.
Are they here, the trainers in Newton?
Yeah, in town. Yeah. Oh, there's also Wichita is just about 30 minutes up the
Yeah.
road. So yeah, lots in Wichita too.
Okay. Do you guys receive animals from Wichita, or they have their own?
They
facilities?
do have their own. I would say Wichita they have one shelter and one humane society when they could probably have 5. So like their ratio of animals coming into their shelter versus what they have space for is not okay for them. They need to have more shelters, and it's a city problem. They should spend more money on that to help them. But because of that, because their Kansas Humane and Wichita Animal Shelter are always so overflowing, we get a lot of calls from people from Wichita asking if they can bring their animals here. Sometimes we're able to help, sometimes we're not. Like right now, we're very full, so we have to say no, and that breaks our heart.
Yeah, that hurts.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that you are not a no kill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what that means is we have no kill status, which means that we have a above 90% live release rate, which we're super proud of, and that's definitely something like our community has helped us get there. We have a lot of fosters, a lot of people willing to help us get animals out of the shelter. We have good relationships with other rescues and shelters, so they can help us when we get really full. But it's something that we're really lucky to have, and it's something that isn't guaranteed to us, and we have to work really hard to make sure that all of our dogs find homes, and we don't take. It's not the easy way out by euthanizing because it hurts all of us a lot. But we try to do absolutely everything we can before we put an animal down. There is that 10% that we have with still to maintain your no-kill status, which in the grand scheme of the animals here is not very much. But those 10% might be super sick older animals. It could also be like our neonatal kittens that we get in. Right now is kitten season, so we have lots of baby kittens coming in. Sometimes their chance of survival is like 50-50. Just and there's hardly, we can give them the best care that we can, and we still can't really control their outcome. So we lose some kittens. And then there's animals like deemed dangerous by the city. If a judge were to deem an animal dangerous, then we would have to follow that and euthanize according to their order, and then that affects our numbers too. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. You mentioned, I think that you're talking about the what you have to face and solve, some
Yeah.
things you have to solve. So, you mentioned too that you don't have a guarantee. That's why the government here like supervise you if you're doing a good job, and if you have too many dogs, you have to euthanize.
The state agriculture department dictates how many animals we can have per how many cages, which really is just one to a cage, which makes sense. But yeah, if we try to go too far over that, or we try to push, we could potentially get shut down. So we have to watch our numbers. And really, it's for the safety and the health of the animals too. If we're packing them all into cages just so that we don't have to euthanize them, that's not a way for them to live either.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about cages, what do you think about breeders?
Yeah, that's a hard one for us. I own 2 hunting dogs that I bought from breeders. My husband is a hunter, so I've done that, and I have them still today. But I also have 2 rescue dogs, and I love them very much. I think that there's a place for everything, and that there's a reason that animals are bred. Some people have a use for those bred animals, but I think that people breeding animals should all come and spend some time at an animal shelter to understand what they're doing, because I think they would be shocked to find out how many of their dogs end up at our shelter. And because they've had 10 litters or so in their dog's lifetime and put out who knows how many dogs, that many dogs
Yeah.
have to come here.
Yeah. My heart just start beating when you said that, because I'm glad you
Yeah.
think that way, because
Mhm.
I understand rescue. I rescue in my country,
Mhm.
but I understand breeders too.
Yeah.
So it's really, if it's controlled, they're
Mhm.
doing a good job, because some people need
Yeah.
some specific dog if they
Yeah.
want to. You get to decide what you want to.
You're right. It's a free country. You can buy whatever you want. You can make whatever you want. Yeah. So I just want people to understand the gravity of their actions when they breed, especially if they're breeding constantly.
Yeah, and with no control.
Yeah.
I think the government here, for breeders, they have a program. They need to be registered.
Yes, I believe.
Have to.
I'm not sure, because there are some people who breed from their house and then they sell those
That's
puppies like
not-
on Facebook.
I think that's not right.
I could agree with that. Yeah.
Because they don't know too much about the breed. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
So for a first world country like
Mhm.
Dominican Republic and
Mhm.
others like Costa Rica and other countries, what will be a first step to start like changing the situation over there? I don't know if you've been in one of those countries,
Yeah.
but it's really hard. People
Yeah.
beat the dogs on the streets and
Yeah. That's a really hard question, because I've always lived in this town where people love their animals, but I would imagine a first step would be campaigning to help people change their mindset around animals. I would imagine you would have a hard time convincing people just to start to go from beating their dogs to rescuing dogs. It probably needs to look like people understand that these dogs are a part of people's families. And then you can start entering into the conversation of, here's why we should help these people, or these dogs who are a part of these people's families. And yeah, That's really how we treat it here too. That's not very different. We say that we help the citizens of Harvey County and the pets that they love.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow, you don't know how much I agree because we're trying to start that program in our country, and people over there, the people who rescue dogs and cats,
Mhm.
they they are always like fighting
Mhm.
about other people's behaviors.
Yeah.
But first, you have to educate
Yeah.
the little children and the people, and then you have to start
Yeah.
talking about the other situations.
Yeah. I feel like it would be pretty hard for you to just start pushing
Yeah.
all of that without a change of mindset there.
We're not. They haven't accomplished anything fighting, so
Yeah.
there must be another conversation.
Yeah.
So we're trying to start speaking with the local police too and
Yeah.
the government, because it takes a lot in the schools
Mhm.
for the education, because the kids are the future. So
Yeah.
it's a situation that is not going to change in 5 years. It's going to take more. So.
Mhm.
Well, thank you very much. Can we?
Yeah. You want
see
to look
the-
around?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Do you want me to leave this on or keep it